Yo, do you remember the first? Like the first thing that you remember when we met? So we met 2012. We both work at Sprint. What was one of the first things you remember when we met?
Didn't you come from Best Buy?
I did come from Best Buy. Yeah.
I remember you coming from Best Buy.
So just so you know,
Okay, all right.
just so you know, I remember what you remember of me, and I'm curious if you if you remember that.
Oh, why I told you what it was? What?
I don't know. I don't know if you told me what it was, but it was something that. Anyway, go ahead. I want to see.
Hmm. All right.
It was like maybe my first few days like there. Angel had me in the back doing some like trainings on that computer back there.
What did I ask you if he was related to Angel?
Nah. That'd be messed up if you asked me if I was Angel. You might have actually. Who knows? Who knows? It's possible.
Don't remember, bro.
It's possible you said something. Anyway, so I was you didn't ask me anything. I was just playing some gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing some like just a gospel track that I had on, and I think later on we had unpacked that, and you were like, "Yeah, I remember you playing some gospel music. I thought this kid was like just really going to church. I went to church and stuff like that, but nothing like that. But so it's that, and then the other thing that I remember is that we did a foot race. Remember the foot race we did outside? You don't remember the foot race? Nah, bro.
I must have lost if I forgot.
Nah, you won.
Oh,
You won. No, it was me, you. I think we might have been closing or something, and it was me, you, Eric, Charles, and gosh, I don't even know. Maybe just us four.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Courtney at the time. And I remember like, oh, I'm faster than you. Like, all right, bet. And it was, you bet that if you won, I had to get you a bottle of Hennessy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I won, I don't know, it might have been like at that time I was drinking Bud Lights. So for me, I don't know what I was thinking, man. This is a disclaimer. I think I was still faster than you, but for some reason, having the baseball player in me, I decided to take a lead. Like I was leading off of first base. So I'm leading this way. You're facing forward, like, like normal people in track when they race do. And I'm facing sideways. I'm horizontal to you. And I thought that I would, for some reason, get this like boost of speed. And you beat me by a half step. So, but anyway, Isaac Goodwater here with me today. Very excited because, the reason why, main thing, wanted to catch up. One thing about the show that I learned with the last, like, I don't know, probably 10, 15 episodes, when I've had people on the show who are people who, from my past, friends, acquaintances, whatever, it's the ability and the opportunity to reconnect. So we can talk, we can see each other. I think last time we saw each other was at the cigar lounge. I think, right? Was it?
That might have been the time before. Didn't we at your other spot, like around the fire?
That was a while ago, though. That was like 2016 or 17. I think I saw you again after the fact. I could be wrong, and if that's how long I haven't seen you, maybe out and about. But anyway, the reason, the one thing I do like about the show is that I can bring people back onto here.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk, we can chop it up, like we never missed a beat. And then it's perspective, right? Bring people on, have perspective. So I wanted to have you on because I think like when I first like met you and not really getting to know you, but having gotten to know, because you lived right across the street or around the block where my mom used to live. We were pretty close. Like,
yeah. You were down the hill.
I was on Nob Hill Road.
Okay.
And I had this like moment.
Yes, Ridge days. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had this moment of reflection of, especially when bringing people on and we're talking about things from the past and whatnot. I'm like, man, like one of the more formidable years that I had in my life was when I met you. And it's mainly because of, I think, in my opinion, that your ability to just be you without any regard to anything. I think if anybody who know who Isaac Goodwater is that you are like you without a fault. Like you don't care. Like, and that's a good thing. Yeah. That's not a bad thing. And I think that self-critical aspect of us as people, we will sit there and be like, oh yeah, well that's not true. I have all these faults. Of course we all do, right? We all do. What I'm referring to is the impact you have on people. And I found that the confidence you had in yourself to be kind of who you are in those environments, I kind of adapted throughout life after that. So whether that be lewd sense of humor or, joking and not reading the room and joking, like those are things that I still do to this day that I think that when I look back, it's kind of shaped who I am and why, not why people like me, because there's other aspects, but like one of the reasons why. So shout out to you for helping me out with that, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. I think it's interesting because you're not the only person that said something like that.
Mhm.
Like I do care.
Mhm.
Like people say that, and it's like, but I don't care about other people's like opinions of me more than me. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I gotta be me.
Yeah, you don't. The
Like,
only
I care, but not that much, I guess.
the only one who can validate you is you.
100%.
That's one of the things that I stick with. Like I don't need validation from anywhere. Like for me, it's my validation comes from how I feel about myself. And obviously, we can feel bad about decisions that we made or things that we've done, right? But the validation doesn't come from external. Like, sure, doing X, Y, and Z might feel good that there's a display of things. One thing I don't like doing, I don't like displaying a lot of my life, like other than my kids and my wife and stuff like that. But like there's people out there that display the materialistic things of life.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. Like not that they do that, do as you please. But for me, I don't get any like gratification in showing the things that I've achieved and earned in my life. So it's just kind of like my way of thinking. It's kind of like that same attitude. Like I don't
feel
care.
similar. Yeah, I feel similar. It's like I'll show little windows of things that I feel like I want to share at the time. But like, yeah, it's like I feel like when I see it in other timeline, like in my timeline, I see other people doing it. Then I wonder if they're seeking a validation or something, and then it just makes me feel like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I have what I need.
And quite like it's interesting because social media, I feel like created that a lot. Like the days of Instagram when it was just you post pictures, and then you got the Facebook, and you could see things in sequential order. And Twitter, bro. I think the only reason why I jumped on Twitter is because you were on Twitter at the time, and we would have. I mean, Twitter was wild back then.
It was the Wild Wild West before.
It still is though. But anyway, it really is. But during those times, it's easy to lean on what you want people to think of you during that time. And I was one of them. I was one like, I need to post a picture because I want someone to see it. I need this. But again, I don't really care about that these days. But some of the things that I jotted down that I kind of want to chat about. So we'll talk a little bit about Sprint. We don't have to go too much into that because we know how that ended. Yeah. Your early days upbringing, obviously, I believe you grew up in a church household, right? A little bit.
Yes,
so I want to talk about that. I want to unpack that a little bit. And then, music is something you're very passionate about, and I've always known that about you. And when you gave me that really good idea, which I won't tease here. I'll wait till we get to that part of the curation, but we'll go through that. But let's talk about your childhood, because like one, you have a background of, remind me, is your dad a minister?
He was. Still is.
He still is.
Now.
Yeah. For you, what's that like as a kid? Like church every Sunday, you're in the, what's that like for you?
Yeah, definitely very, I was there every Sunday and other days of the week, probably whenever it was open. The fact that he was a pastor, that's one thing. He was strict and would have me in the church, but also he was in the military as well.
He was in the military?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It was like double dipping.
So you had the fear of God and the fear of like, I'm going to send your ass to the Marines or whatever it was.
Well,
or very militant, very disciplined, right? The discipline was
it was
on 10.
Home.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have any. I thought I considered going into the military, but he just based off his experiences at the time, like he figured I could do something else. He wanted other routes for me.
What branch of the military?
He was in the Army.
He was in the Army.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in the Army. My uncle, his brother, was in the Navy. I had one that was in the Air Force. Pretty much most branch. I had an aunt that was in the military as well. His sister. Yeah.
What was so you have a sister you mentioned before. Congratulations to you and her. Obviously, her having her first child, you being an uncle.
Yes, sir. My first.
It's just you two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was that between you? Your dynamic between you and her, like, and she older, younger?
Yeah, no, my sister is my first best friend.
Yeah,
it wasn't always that way.
Yeah,
obviously, we would, bump heads coming up.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, no, I learned she's older than me and she was bigger than me until I was probably 12, and we used to fight when we were kids. But once I got bigger than her, and my dad immediately put a stop to that. You can't be hitting girls, and then I turned into the protector of her. So she calls me her little big brother.
What like how was so you mentioned your dad was a pastor, church, also militant. Like when you think about you as your core, like I always like this question. I ask pretty much anybody, whether you're a pastor or anything like that. Like
Mhm.
I think a lot of who we become is based off of upbringing, whether we receive it as something as positive or negative. There's influence from people that are around us at those very formidable and fundamental times of our life. What's one thing that sticks with you with your dad about your dad that you live with? Like you know, you know for that you hear him. Like you're not with him, but you hear him. Like what's one thing that sticks with you?
Um, so there's a lot of things. I think something recently, like I was talking to him about a situation that was frustrating me,
Mhm.
and um I actually was like a relationship situation,
Mhm.
and him and my mom have been married for, oh, I should know this, like maybe 40 years or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, like some grand number I should know.
Mhm.
But like, so there's ups and downs, and nothing is peaches and cream all the time.
Yeah.
But I kind of he basically told me, he was like, if there's something wrong, like, you fix it. Like,
Yeah.
if there's a situation going on, you fix it. Like,
Mhm.
don't wait on the next person. Don't. And it's like an accountability thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I
So let
take
me ask you.
responsibility for happiness, and I take
Yeah.
responsibility for things, and don't push for somebody else or look to blame somebody else for those
Let
things.
me ask you just on piggyback off of that, because I have gone through something similar,
Hmm.
where I had to reflect and seek answers in a bunch of different ways to get the answer to my problem. Did you go to him because you felt like you were avoiding something that needed to be addressed and you were hoping for a different perspective? And the reason why I ask is because I think that we go through life and we have these ideas about, we create a framework, if you will, about a specific scenario, and we try to avoid conflict. And I recently have experienced something very similar. Again, I didn't go to anybody outside of like a couple of people that I'll say, hey, what are your thoughts on this?
Hmm.
And it had this like reflective moment where I was like, man, the problem's me. Like, I'm the one that needs to, like you said, your dad's accountability. I'm the one that needs to be able to put myself in the other person's shoes, if you will, because we can always say that, like, oh man, I feel sympathetic, I feel empathetic, like, but that's not really putting yourself in that person's shoes. The way you do that is be able to identify, how am I making this person feel,
Yeah, trying to see from their perspective.
and that's the accountability piece. So that's something that he basically kind of just opened your eyes to a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely opened my eyes. The reason though, like you were asking, like, why did I go to him? At the time, it was more so because they knew something was going on, and I hadn't shared it with them.
Mhm.
So sometimes, like, when it's I like to keep things in house, you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But also, like, I really care about my relationship with my parents, and like,
Mm.
I can talk to them about things.
Yeah.
I just sometimes choose not to.
Mm.
And at that time, I felt like they felt away, or they felt like I felt like I couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
So I gave them a little window of what was going on, not really because I felt like I needed a whole bunch of assistance,
Mhm.
but I didn't want them to feel like I was shutting them out,
Yeah.
or make them feel like it was worse than it was. Because
Right.
sometimes I just, you know, internalize things, and then people can notice a shift and
Yeah.
wonder what's
That's
going
huge.
on.
That's
And
huge.
it's like, oh no, nothing terrible is going
Mhm.
on, but I understand,
Mhm.
my actions are,
Yeah.
I'm changed a little bit, or
Yeah.
altered where I'm at.
Yeah.
So you would see something. So now I want to give you a little window, so you don't think, so you don't panic or think
Yeah.
the worst. Like, no, it's not that bad.
And one of the things the reason why I'm leading with this, I wasn't going to lead with this, but
Mhm.
that's kind of the theme that I've been on in the last few episodes with, Danny Garcia, Mike Mish. I had CJ Sadie on a few little, probably like 2 or 3 months ago.
My
And
guy, CJ.
yeah, CJ's in there. Shout out to CJ. But I, I like to create a little vulnerable space in this because we don't talk about it enough.
Mhm.
Not, obviously not me and you, but people or guys in general don't talk about those avoidance of issues enough. And I truly think that the world is a better place when men can do that. I really do, and I'm experiencing it with myself because now, like I said, been able to be more vulnerable with people than I had ever before, and it really makes me feel good. And in turn, I hope that it makes somebody else feel good. So that's why I'm kind of leading with this place. We'll go back to originally. We don't have to go too deep into that aspect of anything, but let's go. Like you're back in the cell phone business. We met back at Sprint and whatnot. And I asked you earlier, what do you remember most? But to me, when I think back at Sprint, those were, like I said, formidable years. A couple of reasons. One, it's the first time I had a job that was commission based. I had never worked in a commission based job. That's where I learned how to really make money.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask, what's your favorite moment from that? Like I asked you about moments you remember, but what's your favorite moment from? Because you were there a little longer than I was. You were probably there 2 years. I was there about a year and a half.
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment from then?
Do you remember?
Oh God.
When we went to, I want to say it was Squam.
Yeah, for Charles's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you remember. Yeah, and he ended up
in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it was.
We were trying to wrestle that grown man, yo. It was like 12 of us trying to get him in the water.
And it took all 12. All 12.
I was in the back, man. I was scrawny then, so I wasn't helping. I was just like, yo, you guys got this.
Bro, because he brought. It wasn't like it was like we were small guys.
He brought all his football guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's one football guy, but he brought several football guys and us.
Yep.
And it still took all of us to get him in it. That was crazy. I think that was
a fun. The bond that we had, like we were like brothers there, man. That was a really unique feel that we had.
Yeah, almost like a fraternity type of thing. Yeah.
Almost. There was always something that went on. And this is going to go through, we're going to go through nostalgia here because I love nostalgia. I talk about nostalgia. I talk about nostalgic things. I talk about nostalgic moments. And the one thing with nostalgia, it arises emotion. It brings us back and it brings happiness. But then, so I remember Charles would play Anthony Hamilton all the time. He'd play Charlene. He'd have all that. But he'd be in like his moods. Like one day it's Charlene. There's Robin Thicke, it's like, what's he going? But Charles, man, I don't know how he did it. He would walk in with like 10 activations. It's like, bro, like how? We're sitting there trying to figure out how's he doing that? But so we had that moment. Obviously we had our moment together where we blindly did something that we didn't know, and obviously that ended that. But I'm trying to think what else, man. What else did we? Eric's laugh. We used to always joke on it.
Oh, I called. So here's I have a coworker named Erica.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when I'm like, I think I have her saved in my phone as Erica Work, and I have Eric saved in my phone as Eric Work. So the other day I'm driving and I'm going. I think I'm gonna be 2 or 3 minutes late. So I was gonna call and let her know, and I just clicked on speakerphone and I'm driving, and then hello, and I'm like. And I looked down for a second. I said, Eric? He said, yeah. I looked down. Isaac called me. I'm wondering what's going on.
So how you doing, Eric?
Yeah, like, how the hell are you? And we're talking for 2 minutes. I was like, well, I'm going to be real with you. I didn't intend to call you. I meant to call my friend Erica, but I guess it was meant for us to speak. Yeah. And so we just caught up for 2 or 3 minutes. But it was just fun.
He had his insurance with me for a little bit. I don't know if he moved. He was talking about moving away, but I don't know if he moved away. He did have his insurance. Him and Angelica had his insurance with me. So him, obviously Angel, when was the last time you talked to Angel? Probably a while ago, because we didn't even have Angel as our manager when we left. Remember, Patricia came. Remember that woman, Patricia? That woman came in because they moved Angel all the way up to Newington. Newington, yeah. And then she came in, and like it was like a month later that we left. But Angel always seemed stressed. Man. He seemed like he was always stressed about something. Who knows what people, what people have going on.
We don't know their internal battles. That's the thing. Like,
especially then, you don't know. Like, what was the extent of our stress then was most likely women. Yeah. Most likely.
Self-inflicted stress too.
Self-inflicted.
Because now, reflecting, the women weren't that stressful, but we were making the situations.
No, yeah, we were definitely making the situations worse. Definitely making situations worse. So we have that. I'm trying to think what else, man. There's a lot of good things. I remember we had Robin. Robin would only show up on like it was Sundays or Saturdays or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
British accent Robin.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't British. I think she was South African.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, Tenaglia. I think she was. I'm pretty sure she was.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
But no, I mean, whatever. Shout out to Robin.
We definitely saw each other again because we talked about. You were like, everything is still the same. Where at T-Mobile, you're like, there's still RMS. They did something in the back.
Oh, okay. So
Was that at the cigar? It must have been at the cigar
then
lounge.
yeah,
And I think Tone was there, Quan was there.
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Now I remember that. I remember it's coming back to me now. Okay. Yeah, that was when when I first came back to T-Mobile. It was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and
Oh, you've been there for that long now.
yeah,
Nice.
and they had just
Rebrand or they
absorbed
acquired.
Sprint. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So we still had some of their systems. So we still had one of the and that was completely the same.
Mhm.
And then after a year, they got rid of that system and started kind of phasing it out. But yeah, it was like one register that was all that Sprint system, and then everything else was on a tablet with T-Mobile. So it was like night and day. That
You still. I mean, obviously, you're not going to say no, but like this, you still enjoy doing it because I kind of miss. Like I think about it all the time. I miss the cell phone days. The thing is, though, like with technology and how things change now, I feel like you guys don't get as much foot traffic as you used to back in the day. Or is it about the same?
oh no, it's an amazing amount of foot traffic.
Is it for new business and stuff like that, or
Um, it's a mix.
Mhm.
We have waves of stuff but yeah, it's a mix. New activations, a lot of upgrades. I feel like once we acquired Sprint and like there was a lot more
yeah?
new like waves and new activations, and then now they're working on like the plans and like promotions, so they have equal or better promotions for the existing customers.
Good.
Because before that was the thing, people would just run to the next carrier because
Yeah.
usually the
It's
new customer
just
gets
cheaper,
the best,
right? Yeah, it's like insurance. Like you go get insurance somewhere else, it's cheaper because you get the new acquisition. Not all the time, but you get like a new customer discount. There's just things that they drip out.
But is that something that is only for the first 12 months, only for the first?
Usually, I mean, it depends. Like, there's tons of discounts forever. You got multi-policy discount. You got new customer discount, paperless discount, automatic withdrawal. Like, there's a bunch of different things, and there's ways to offset pricing. The one thing we can't offset is when you have rate increases.
Yeah.
So if the state level has a rate increase for a specific carrier that applies to your policy at your renewal, there's no way to really like
Go around
manipulate
that,
that.
yeah.
We can increase your deductible, we can drop your coverage because if you have older car, but you don't really have the ability to like give an additional discount. Like I had somebody reach out to me, was like, I got this discount code from work, and can I use it? I'm like, yeah, no, you can, but it's just not going to really do anything, and it's just kind of the way it is. But yeah, man, Sprint was like I said, Sprint was formidable for me, man.
How old were you when you came?
So I was 22. It was January 2nd, 2012, right out of college, that I started working there, and then I left in March of 2013, and I was already looking for a new job because like I kind of like I have a college degree. Not that people at Sprint or T-Mobile, I know people in the business make a lot of money. It wasn't that. It was just like this path isn't something that I want to take, and kind of not sure what I want to take. But I went to Enterprise like right after that, so I took a job with Enterprise, and I did that for about 9 or 10 months, and then I met Claire at Sailfest in July of 2013, and the rest is history. We moved in with each other like 6 months later. I ended up ironically getting a team management job at T-Mobile in Bridgeport.
Nice,
This was at the same time that we were like in the process of moving from New London or she's in East Lyme, I was in New London with my mom, but we ended up moving to Hamden together. So it was the first time I actually lived on my own with anyone. It was with her, and she would drive into Bridgeport, and she was a teacher there, or an interventionalist kind of thing, and I was at T-Mobile, and I was a store manager for like 8 months. And when, crazy enough, I ended up quitting because I was like, Bridgeport was like, we were smack dab in the hood, like on Park Street. So like, it was kind of wild. And I mean, we were like a really high revenue generating store. We were like generating, I don't know what numbers are like now, but we would generate like 75,000 to 100,000 a month, which I think is a lot, right? From when you think of like how the plans and stuff are, and accessories and all that.
Yeah.
But then somebody broke into my store at like, I don't know, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So I get a call at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, who's calling me? Like, what's going on? It's my manager. Like, oh, Paul, you need to come over and again, I'm in Hamden. So he's like, you got to drive to Bridgeport. Somebody broke into the store. I'm like, I'm not driving what am I going to do? Sit there until the morning shift starts at 8 o'clock. What am I going to do?
You're not a police officer?
I'm not a police officer. Yeah. Like, and my assistant manager lived right across the street. So I was like, yo, can Jonathan go? She was like, I'd rather you. I'm like, I'm not going over there right now. I'll see you at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I ended up going. I got there like 8 in the morning. dude literally kicked out the window and broke it with like some like boulder basically. And then because we weren't trained, like they didn't train us, and you would think like a store in Bridgeport would have the gates to stop that from happening, but they didn't have that, and we weren't trained at that time because even over here in Sprint, we didn't take the tablets and phones off of the thing. I think we left them on the
The display joints, right?
we always left them. We never really worried about that. But supposedly we were supposed to take them off of the display. And she was like, all right, well, I got to fire your assistant manager and the key holder. I'm like, if you do that, I'm quitting because it's not their fault that somebody broke into the store and stole it. It's your guys' fault for not giving us the proper,
Yeah.
procedures to close. So yeah, I ended up working there, and then we moved back and, got the rolling insurance. But I miss it, man. I kind of, again, I don't miss it in the way because insurance kind of creates that same like level of
Feel,
competitiveness
yeah.
and feel. And my team is like really a family oriented. I kind of get that same feel. A lot of those people that I work with were at my wedding and whatnot, and the relationships that I built along the way are great. But I do kind of miss that like fast paced interaction of people coming in and out, selling phones. I love technology. I mean, all this stuff around me, like I'm like, oh man, this is some of the stuff that I think I was like born to do. Nostalgia, like, this is kind of where I wanted to go with nostalgia. I think back to when we were kids. You're 36, 37, 36. I'm 35. I think we lived in the greatest era of kids of all time. We had the Nickelodeons, we have the music, which I think this is where I'm going to go into. We're going to talk a little bit about the music. But sports, the Jordan era, the Kobe era, we had such a unique childhood. And I think that it shaped a lot of who we are today. And I don't know what kids are like growing up like today. I'll learn as my kids kind of go through the thing. But I just think we had such a unique childhood for sure.
Yeah, no, I 100% feel that way. And even like you were talking about technology and how you love technology, I love technology too. And I feel like even for technology, think about the sweet spot that we hit, bro. Like they had tape cassettes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had tape cassettes that I remember. We remember CDs being introduced,
Mhm.
right? But really, how long did CDs have a run before the MP3 came out? You know what I mean? Like the Walkmans had an era, maybe 10, 15 years, because then the iPods came out. Now nobody really uses CDs no more. And it's
Yeah.
been streaming ever since. But like we saw like 3 different things. Some people only saw the record or
Mhm.
only saw the
The vinyls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know? And I don't know if it was last year, but it was just a random stat that I knew that more vinyls were sold than like CDs. So
And
it's like
probably because the value of them. I would assume the value of them are higher than. Are you saying like if a new artist would drop a vinyl as well?
Oh yeah. So I mean, I don't know that everybody's doing physicals of everything,
Mhm.
but yeah, new artists are dropping vinyls as well. So not necessarily just old vinyls, but new ones. Just because to have it physical, like a nostalgia thing, some people do it as art. Like I know I have some. I don't have a record player, but like I have some, and I'm gonna kind of hang them up. But yeah, now some
Are
people
they expensive?
$30.
Okay,
Sometimes
so like
$50.
like a
depending
CD.
on depending on like they have like deluxe editions and
Yeah.
certain things like that.
I remember when like Marshall Mathers came out in like 2000 and going into. My mom should have never bought me that album, by the way. But I remember walking into Walmart. Remember Walmart had the whole CD shelf and picking it up and like bumping it in the car on the ride home. And I'm thinking back like, damn, Slim, you still ain't call it. Like, you know what I mean? Stan, that was a very violent album. That was like one of my most vivid.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Which one was the Marshall Mathers?
That
I know
was-
there was a
that
Slim
was-
Shady LP. There's the Marshall Mathers LP.
So
But
this was the one that had Stan.
Mhm.
It had
with
Real Slim Shady. No, it didn't have some Real Slim Shady. It had Stan. It had
was My Name Is on this one?
I Am, that one. It had
I am
whatever you say. Yeah,
Okay.
had that one. So that one, and then there's a couple other tracks on there, but I'm like, damn, like, yo, why did my mom get this for me? I shouldn't have been listening to that. But I mean, I turned out okay. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that like shock value music. Like I feel like Eminem was like one of the. I mean, I don't want to say the first, but like for hip hop for that era, like there was maybe like an ODB type of person, but he wasn't super mainstream. Like everybody didn't know about him. But Eminem, immediately went mainstream and was just saying kind of the crazy things,
wild things. So music for you is like your thing. Like I remember. I mean, so before we go into this is one other vivid memory from our Sprint days.
Okay.
Okay, we are. We are at Miss Quamicut. Me, you. I don't think we were with Charles and all that. This was like a random day, like a beach day. I think you know what I'm going to talk about.
I think so too.
It was me, you, and we might have went with like Molly or something. There was a few of us out there.
Like foam party or something?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and you are sitting at a table right outside of Patty's, and you just pull up and sit next to some girls. And all of a sudden you start singing.
This was a long, long time ago.
This
So
was
let
this was
everybody
this
know.
was a yeah. I mean, this wasn't yesterday.
Okay, all right.
This is circa 2012. We're talking 13 years ago. All right, 13 years ago. We could talk about this stuff. This is who we are. You know what I mean? 13
Help
years.
shape us.
You know, so we pull up, you know, and you're singing, and or no, we pull up and you sit down. You know, I can't remember who these girls were, and you start like asking them questions, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm Trey Songz's manager." And I'm like, oh, this guy, what's he doing? Like, and they're like, really? Like, and yeah, and you started singing. You're singing. I swear on everything. This is truth. This is truth. You start singing. Man, I think You Should Let Me Love You or Can't Help But Wait. One of the two songs you start singing, and then I try to harmonize with you, and I'm like, oh, I don't got to sing in voice, but I'll let him write it. And so, you know, I remember that very vividly of that time. But you know, music is your thing, and I don't remember. So, like, when you think of or help me understand like your passion for music. When did that come from? I think you played some instrument in church, right? Your passion for music, and then the side of music that you're on. You're on the production side of music, that being the, you know, the sound or the writing aspect of it, or the other side of things where you're like the, you know, the content creation of, or, you know, you're the one that's developing the, you know, the pieces, you're singing it, you're doing that. So what's that passion? Where's that come from?
I feel like it came from like a multitude of places. Yeah, I played instruments. Like I played the drums in church, and I played since I was like really, really young, probably 2 or 3. My pops really enjoys music. He can't sing a lick, but he just loves it, like the Motown era. And so I was exposed to a lot of that stuff when I was young. Didn't really love it or appreciate it then. Like, why is he always playing this old stuff?
Yeah.
But like, as I, you know, grew, I can see that a lot of the new stuff is taken from the old stuff, and they sample things over and over and over again, you know? So I was like, you know, this must be the golden era. Like, if everybody is digging and pulling from here, let me go see what this is about. So, and then I feel like that helped me develop an appreciation for like all types of eras of music, all types of genres playing in church. My dad wanted me to learn to read music, so I was playing in school as well. Flash forward to high school, and I'm in like the marching band and the concert band and the orchestra, like, yeah, all of those, playing a whole bunch of different instruments. So then now, even then, did I really love the classical music I was playing in concert band? No, not so much, but it helped develop an appreciation for all genres of music. Like, I have an ear for strings,
sure.
You know, the French horn and random instruments that you would not, you know. And I would hear those in music now, or in production, and I don't know. It's just.
So you're you basically you can like make a beat, you put it all together, all that stuff. Is that what you're doing, or what do you like?
So I'm better. I'm be honest. I'm better at the drums than I am at producing a beat. I help arrange beats, and I can produce stuff. And I kind of have a buddy that we are creating a producing group. So we kind of collab and do things together. As far as production goes. And yeah, I do some songwriting, and I used to do it a lot more, still do it now. That kind of helps when I'm producing the beats, when we're arranging things, when you kind of have a hook already in place or a structure of it.
Yeah. So, I actually remember now that you say that, like, you used to go through your notes and like, yo, how's this sound? And like, you would show me, you would like, I don't know if you would sing it, I can't remember. You probably were singing it, maybe you were reading it. But I remember you used to do that. So is that like, that's kind of your bread and butter? Like, that's what you when you think of music, obviously there's all sorts of things. Like for me, like the one thing I think I don't want to say I'm tone deaf, but I think I can differentiate and identify different tones. Like when their song is about to start, or if there's a song that maybe is sampled by another song, and I say it, like I'm like, oh, that's from this song, and someone's like, no, it's not, but it is. Or like if someone's singing, right, for example, and their voice is really good, and if they have a really so alto's the high, was it alto? What's the highest note?
Soprano. Then
Soprano,
alto.
soprano, alto. Okay, so soprano's more of the like the ushers kind of the world. Anyway,
Oh yeah, maybe Usher when he
yeah,
has like the falsetto.
yeah. So, but like I know where the note's gonna go, and I can hear it in my head before it goes there.
Mhm.
But like, there's all things like music for me. I like music because like it makes me feel good. Like I love listening to all sorts of music, which we're gonna go to here in a little bit on some things. But for you, like, what's the bread and butter for you? Like, because this is a long time for you to be like, yo, I'm just doing this. Like, just do it. Like, do you have an end goal for what you want to accomplish, or is this more of just like what I do with the podcast is like a hobby? I don't want this to be like the next Joe Rogan or anything like that. If it was great, but like that's not my goal.
So yeah, no, the goals they shift, or like the ultimate what you want the outcome to be,
Mhm.
or what you're doing it for. And so now, like, yeah, I have a passion for it. At one point I was chasing something, and maybe, I feel like teenage years or early 20s, maybe it's the artist, like,
Right.
oh, I want to be the art. Then it's like,
You want to be the one grabbing air,
yeah, singing in the rain.
singing in the rain.
But then it's like, there's more money doing the other things.
Yeah.
And it's, you don't have to jump around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't-
What's what's the I don't know, obviously technology, AI. I use AI pretty much every day. Like I use AI as like my personal assistant.
Gemini, Chat.
I use ChatGPT for OpenAI. I use Gemini for like help me build off of certain things, and then I use Copilot and Grok. So
Okay.
Copilot's Microsoft, Gemini's Google, Grok is Twitter's
Mhm.
free one, and then I use OpenAI ChatGPT. That's the one I pay for because there's like endless things that thing helps me do. Like I literally, like I have a personal assistant. It's pretty dope. But I have also come across tools that you can create music with. And I'm like, yo, this is kind of crazy. There's people who could literally just speak like this, and then it's produced as Drake's voice, whoever's voice,
Mhm.
a different voice that no one's ever recognized. What do you know about like that, and like what kind of threat that has to this kind of game?
I mean, yeah, no, it's crazy. To me, I feel like it's gonna be treated almost like sampling.
Mhm.
I don't know what type of threat it is.
Well-
Really, like already there's minimal money in music, like streams and all
Yeah.
that. Like that's why all the artists are doing all types of other things.
Interesting. I didn't
Like,
realize that.
Unless you're doing everything,
I didn't realize that.
unless you're making your own beat, unless you're recording it
Gotcha.
yourself.
So
Unless
let's
you're-
just use. So let me use a guy like J. Cole,
Mhm.
right? He does his own stuff, or no? Do you know?
But, I mean, he's capable of it, and he
Yeah.
does sometimes.
Mhm.
I don't like follow all the credits and things,
Gotcha,
but some
gotcha,
of them he does
gotcha.
produce his own.
Because I
stuff.
was wondering, he like branched off like this thing. I don't know if it was a podcast or something like that. And I'm wondering, like, that's kind of strange that he's doing that. So, but you're saying streams, like, there's no money, like, unless you're a bigger name, right? Where they're getting millions of downloads.
I mean, so yeah, with that, yeah, if you're getting millions of downloads, then you'll get some, but it's all fractions
crazy.
of a cent.
Who gets the money?
The
The producers?
the labels, I believe, or the
Interesting.
distributors, like the streaming, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But like, yeah, there's a handful like that. Like some of the bigger artists can negotiate different deals, so
Gotcha.
then it's not the same thing. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might be getting more, but in general, no. Like
Yeah.
shows, that's why people stay on tour or
Gotcha.
are selling merch and selling all types of things,
I
because it's really
see.
coming from everywhere else.
So I
The
could s-
music is good, like a marketing thing, like to
Right.
keep people's.
So I can see how you isolate the now, like the being the singer or whatever, or the artist, if you will, to being the creator of what you ultimately want. So I can see how that's easy
Because
to
I feel
isolate.
like if you contribute to a soundtrack, then now a show picks it up, and there's money there.
Yeah.
Like if you contribute to sounds that are used in this beat here, then there's money there. So it's like
So
all
it's
the
being
work.
something that could be repurposed as opposed to something that's just gonna be mainstream, if you will.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I feel like there's more options or more lanes for
Yeah.
the.
Well, it's kind of like with the show. Like people are asking me, like, do you think about monetizing it? And I'm like, I mean, I could probably monetize this show via sponsorships and ad spots, where a business I can go to, like, hey, what do you think about X, Y, and Z business? Would you be willing to share 20 seconds or 30 seconds on my show? And in between, you can do a pre-roll where before the show starts, you would be on there, or you could be mid-roll, somewhere in the middle, or at the end, up to you. Would you want to do it? I could definitely do that. But the idea what you're just saying about how being able to repurpose the music that's created, not the artist that's singing it, is very similar to the concept that I'm actually tapping into with the podcast, where people, I'm going to help them create their own podcast, and I'd be the one behind the scenes doing everything, the editing, the video, the
Oh, there you
audio,
go.
and stuff
There you
like
go.
that.
Okay.
So it can enter me into that space. Like it's a production aspect. Like there's probably tons of other companies out there that could do it.
How many if you don't mind,
Mm.
like how many subscribers and stuff do you have? Like how big is the
Oh yeah, so I'm at 65 on YouTube.
Okay.
The podcast isn't a year old yet. The podcast will hit a
Alright.
year old on March 2nd, I think, or March 10th, somewhere around there. I have about 6,000 views
Okay.
between the videos that have come out there, and then on listening apps, I have about almost 2,000. So a lot of it. I just again initially started the podcast as like a promotion for the other person, and this is more an opportunity to sit down one to one with someone who I have met at a party, or not at a party, like an event or something like that. But I really want to get to know them, and I can't because everybody's drinking and we're all kind of just working the room to talk to everybody. It's like, hey, come on my show and we could talk about this,
Let me
and
pick
then
your brain.
in turn, I can create the content for you so people get to know you.
Mhm.
So that was like my thought. And then it evolved into recently the last 10 or so episodes of like this open discussion, because I'm like, I want to be able to like talk about music, like talking about music, which I really like. Like it doesn't lend itself to your platform. You know what I mean? Like having a discussion back and forth.
Yeah.
So the promotion of it is more so now when you start seeing me post videos or post about the podcast, like when this episode comes out, it's going to go out on Facebook first as the link to the YouTube. So it's going to be the YouTube, and then below it's going to be the links to the audio. So if people just want to listen to it, they can just go to it, click it, and whatnot, and go from there. But in the I'll do like the clips and stuff like that. So I mean, again, it's a learning process of that. But the easiest way to monetize this show would be just through helping other people start, record, whatever, and I just do it all for them.
Okay. No, yeah. The only reason I had asked, I was just like,
I'm not good enough for you. Don't post this episode.
no.
I'm just messing.
No,
65, nah,
definitely,
man.
No,
Nah.
definitely post the episode. I was saying
65.
for those people that you're gonna be helping doing the things. If you have like creating a channel, and then even them posting under a channel or something, you creating kind of a network of the podcast.
I see. So creating a channel that's a great idea. So like one-offs where if I'm helping someone have a channel, but create a like production channel where it shows like maybe clips or something from. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
That's
so
actually not a bad idea.
Still piggyback, like it helps
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
like, both of you guys.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. We'll see. I mean, there's obviously there's a bunch of like podcast producing like studios around here that they charge crazy amounts of money, which I probably could do the same thing. Like I could be a fraction of what them and still be more than what I'm paying. But because it's so new to me and not an avenue that I'm like sure where it's gonna go and like how great I'm gonna be at it, like I'm obviously gonna put effort into it. I just don't want to like overshoot it and be like, yeah, like this is gonna be so great, and it comes out I think my production's pretty good when you actually go and sit through and watch the video and whatnot. Definitely could use some tweaks and maybe better editing, if you will. But for the most part, I mean, you got 3 cameras here. Like this is all gonna be like when you talk, you're gonna see it and whatnot. But so let's go through a couple things here. So you had said, that you randomly so you refresh my memory because I forget verbatim, but you randomly will pick like 3 different songs and listen to them.
Oh, so so sometimes, I have I make playlists. I love music. I make playlists, and usually there's some type of theme. And I get creative with the theme sometimes. Sometimes I'll take the best songs from 2 different albums. But sometimes I'll also get like a sense of like writer's block, or if I can't think of a theme or whatever. So then I just start thinking of a random artist.
Sure.
And then 3 songs I know by them, like 3 bops that they got. And then I'll put it on a list. Then think of another artist. 3 slaps, like,
Yeah.
They don't have to have a whole album, but just 3. Then
Gotcha.
put them on the list. And then you have a whole playlist of, wow, I didn't even know that these are some of my favorite songs.
That's pretty
They're
cool.
not like your favorite artists or anything, but if they're the favorite songs of these random people,
That's pretty cool. So let's do this then, because I thought it was a really good idea. Let's pick a couple genres, and we're going to pick each 3 songs from those genres of like, what would you put in that list? Now, obviously, I think you're going to be a little bit more diverse in being able to pick songs. I'm still stuck in like mid 2000s, early, late 1999. Like but
Hey, it's the golden era.
it is the golden era. But I want to do hip hop, or rap, hip hop. I guess how would you classify that? Would you classify hip hop, rap in the same thing, or would you separate them?
I would probably classify them as the same thing, but if you separated them, then it gives us more opportunity for songs.
All right, so let's do that. Let's do hip hop, rap. And I guess we'll figure out how we depict that. We'll do R&B. We'll do R&B. Do 3 R&B. We'll do like your pop, like regular pop songs, or I don't know if rock, pop. We'll do that. We'll do country. Throw a little country in there.
Okay.
And then we'll do gospel. But before we do that, we'll each rank the genres first. So I'm going to rank which genre I like the most first, and then we will go in order based off of that. So let me, do you have a pen? I don't have a pen.
Jot them down.
Yeah.
I can put them on the, I don't want to be on my phone, but I'm just
putting
it on the notepad. Hold on. Said hip hop.
So hip hop, rap, R&B, country, pop/rock, I guess.
Pop/rock.
No, because two different. Yeah, separate.
Come on.
Okay, so and then gospel.
All right,
Gospel genre,
and
then we'll
rank.
We're gonna rank them first, which is our favorite.
Okay.
And then we're going to pick 3 songs per category.
Okay.
So because of my ignorance, I'm going to make this easy. I'll go first.
All right.
Okay. In order, my first top genre of music is gospel music.
All right.
That's my number one.
Amen.
Gospel music for me is something that I listen to daily. Like it does listen to daily. I think second on this list, and I think mainly because the lack of R&B that there is now, it would probably be country music, which is because R&B music isn't what it used to be, in my opinion. From what I listen, I don't hear any the old school stuff like we used to. So then I'll put R&B under that. I will go then. I'll probably put rap 4 if we're gonna isolate rap and hip hop. Hip hop right under that. That leaves me with pop and then rock, I would say.
Oh, you putting rock last?
I'd probably put rock last, 'cause I don't know if I know a lot of rock songs, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but like probably off the top of my head, I probably don't even know. So what do you got?
All right. So if we're going favorite, I gotta say, I would say R&B is favorite.
Number 1.
I'm capping. Hip hop is favorite.
Hip hop's favorite.
I would say R&B would be second.
Mm-hmm.
I would say rap would be third. I would say gospel would be fourth. What do we have? Country, pop, rock. I would say rock would be fifth, and then pop, then country.
Okay.
Then country.
All right. So with gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, So I'll go my one. You go your one. So my number 1's gospel. Yours is hip hop.
All right.
So with gospel, and I would say gospel / worship, because it's obviously the same category. And I know a lot. So there's a song that Byron Cage did, and it's been a song forever in worship. Agnes Day, but Passion 2024 or maybe 2023, they did Agnes Day. It was like a 20-minute worship song, and I was like, man, that's it for me. So we got that.
Was it? That's by Passion and Christian.
So the Passion is the like service, almost like retreat kind of thing that they do. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
And then there's like artists that are singing at Passion.
That's fire. So it's like a worship service,
almost like a worship service, but it's like a big long. Yeah, it's like a big long service,
fire.
And they sing Passion. So they sing Agnes Day. So there's Agnes Day. And then we have here Uppity Up. I like Byron Cage. I Will Bless the Lord. That was my jam.
That's Uppity Up. What do you mean?
No.
Tempo?
So yeah, tempo. Like
bless.
No. When I was up, when I'm down, I will bless the Lord.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That was
All
a,
right.
that's my. I love that song. Actually, when I was in church back in the day, I was part of a choir and I led the entire song, which was kind of cool. And then for number 3, um, there's a song by. Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, there's a ton of songs, but like, if I'm feeling down or if I want to give God some worship, the songs that I will go to. There's a song by Hillsong. I think it's a Hillsong Church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called "Glorify Your Name," and it's like a 7-minute, 8-minute song. Those are like my 3, like just tap into just straight up worship and presence for me for my top 3 for gospel.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do my top three for gospel. So
Yeah,
when
might
I
as
go
well.
all
Yeah,
over
might
the
as
place.
well. Might as well.
So my top 3, I would say there's a Mary Mary song that always gets me a little, pulls at the heartstrings.
Which
and
one's
the
that?
emotional. It's called Still My Child.
Okay.
And then there's let's see. Oh, come on, what's this guy's name?
Kirk.
Not Kirk, not Kirk. Oh, all right. Kirk Franklin, Melodies from Heaven.
Melodies from Heaven.
I think that was Kirk Franklin and the Family.
Yeah.
I know he reinvented himself a couple times. But what's the I will dance like David danced.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of people I know. Yeah. Oh, Fred Hammond.
Yeah,
Fred Hammond. Yeah. Oh,
Right.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah.
Man. That actually brings me back to "No Weapon Formed Against Me." Where he's like, yeah. I love that. I love this.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, like I said, you could go through a whole. Actually, I'm about to add that to the playlist after this. All right. So, what was the next on my list? Was R&B, right? I think that I had said that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did I say R&B or did I say country? I don't remember.
No, the second one was. Oh, then you put country number 2.
I put country number 2. Okay. So country. I mean, I got to go Tennessee whiskey, man.
Ooh, I just downloaded like 2 different variations.
Did
of
you hear
Who's the
T-Pain's?
Yep,
Yeah,
T-Pain's was one of them.
fire, bro.
I have Stapleton, but I guess David Allen Coe, is he the original?
I don't know. I've never heard that one.
Oh, okay.
We won't play it because I don't want to get
Yeah,
copyright.
they're gonna tag us and come get us.
Take the video down and sue me for everything I have.
Do you know Luke Bryant?
Yeah, I know Luke Bryan. So he covered Tracy Chapman's. No, sorry, not Luke Bryan. I'm thinking of Luke Combs. Yeah, I know who Luke Bryan is though. Yeah.
Okay. I have just a quick little sidebar about him, but that kind of introduced me to like open my eyes to country.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, a lot of twangy stuff. Like it really wasn't for me.
Right.
But I lived in Chicago briefly.
Yeah.
And I worked at Wrigley Field. And I
didn't know that.
Yeah, we worked.
I knew you lived in Chicago, but I didn't know you worked at Wrigley.
Yeah. A little blurb in the whole life story. Like it was just, short time.
Gotcha.
But anyways, we worked the games, but we also worked like events and like concerts. And I worked the Luke Bryan concert and like the, how do I say this? To see the crowd and the audience that he brings out.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And like, seeing the pigtails and the flannel and the little shorts. And I'm like, oh, all right. He's like a rock star, bro. Like he's bringing out the baddies.
And that's why it was a little blip.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let me see about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they have some bops, bro. But yeah, you go first.
So so Tennessee whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. Back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of Rascal Flatts. I mean, I was roommates with a bunch of white guys that listened to country music all day. So Rascal Flatts, God Bless the Broken Road was one of my favorites then. And then let's see here, third song that if I like Fast Car, and it's Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, but it's covered by Luke Combs. And Luke Combs is obviously a country artist, and that's probably one of my favorite versions and iterations of it. Those are like my top 3. I mean, I know a few. Like I have a whole playlist of country music, but I don't know. I just listen to them, and I'm just like in my feels for no reason. But
So because I would say Tennessee whiskey, but you took it already. But that's so whatever. But so I'll go 2 Morgan Wallen songs because that's my guy.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about Morgan Wallen.
Chasing
You, yeah.
Chasing You.
Yeah.
Whiskey Glasses.
Yeah.
Whiskey Glasses, fire. And then I don't know this artist. You're gonna have to help me.
Let's see if I can help you. I don't know if this song falls in. Maybe you can help me. What classification this song falls into. Remember, this was back in the Sprint days where we're just bumping all sorts of music. I actually should. When we get to the R&B, I'll get there. But remember the script, "Man Who Cannot Be Moved"?
Yes.
Would you say, what kind of song would you put that in? What kind of category would you put that in? Is that pop?
Soft rock?
Soft rock? Okay. We're not going to go soft rock. I'll just put that in rock when we get there. But anyway, I didn't know if that was country as well.
Yeah, if that was country, though, I'll take it just because I can't think of the name of the song.
All right, I'll give that to you.
All right.
And then so we got here. So country, and then R&B. All right, so R&B. So R&B. Jeez, man. R&B. So it's probably unpopular opinion, and this is a song that I absolutely love. "A Song for You" by Donny Hathaway is probably my number one song of all time for me. For me, because again, we go back to nostalgia. It's like what it meant to me, and I absolutely love that song, and I like every cover that you know what I'm talking about.
I feel like I should.
You should. I'm not going to sing it because I don't. Play it real quick.
I just added it.
Yeah, bro. That song, man, I had actually, rest in peace, Mr. Dunham. He passed away a couple years ago. But he was my English teacher my freshman year of high school, and he did this like segment, like part of his curriculum or whatever for that class was we had to listen to like 5 or 6 different R&B songs, and that was one of them. And I'm like, man, that's one I always remember. So I love that one. I gotta put this is again. I don't know how to put this one. I would put it probably with hip hop, so I'm gonna keep that hip hop there. All right, so we got that. Alicia Keys, "If I Ain't Got You." I think that's got to be number 2 for me. That's one that I always go back to. Actually, ironically, like the version. So they did. So obviously, The Voice has the battles rounds, and there was a Anthony Evans and something Campbell, which are 2 gospel artists, but they did that as a battle. It was probably the best performance that I've seen. It's pretty dope. Anyway, so I like that one with the Usher remix. You heard that one? Have you seen the one with John Mayer and Alicia Keys? I think they're in Times Square, and he's playing Gravity, and then she comes out and does "If I Ain't Got You," and then they harmonize together. Oh, bro, listen, yo. After you leave here, bump that in the car. It's pretty fire.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite John Mayer songs is Gravity.
Yeah. So there's that one, and then let's see, my third one. Something, again, just trying to. There's so many. I'll say "Walked Out of Heaven" is like one of my favorite songs by Jagged Edge.
Ooh.
"Walked Out of Heaven" is probably. Like that's what just came to me. Like I have a whole R&B playlist. There's 1,000 songs on there that I love, but those are like my 3 that. And again, unpopular opinion. People will probably, "Oh, that's crazy. How can you forget this one?" But we only get 3. You only get 3 chances.
Yeah, there's a million. So I'm gonna just go with Oh no! So I'm gonna do the politically correct thing. I'm gonna try to think of like the big names, right? Like. Okay. I give my all. The Mariah Carey song.
Okay.
Give my all.
Oh damn! Forgot Boys to Men too. Sheesh.
Boys to Men. End of the road.
End of the road. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
"I Love You, Baby."
I'm gonna say Whitney. I Believe in You and Me.
Okay. All right. And let's go. What's the next on the list? For me, was it rap or hip hop? I mean, they're probably the same. But so if we're gonna do this one, I'll just give you 6.
No. We gotta go. So we gotta differentiate them. So let's go. Hip hop is like overall. It could be it could be melodies, melodic stuff.
Got it.
But rap, we're gonna go just barsy stuff.
Got you. Okay. So hip hop. Okay. So I gotta isolate that one from this hip hop. Man, there's so many songs. I'm just trying to think back to. So you say melody, like dope beats. So this is crazy. Remember Ghetto Boys? My mind is playing tricks on me.
Okay.
That's got to be the beat. That was like, that was
classic.
My mind is playing tricks on me. Yeah. That was that one's up there. I love J. Cole. That's probably the only guy I like listen to all the time on repeat. I really liked his KOD album a lot. I liked his like all his albums. I think his last couple albums were like but from that album I bumped Photograph a lot. Fell in love with Photograph. Remember that song? Niggas be talking so slick. I'm not that nigga for lip, putting her heart in the clip.
Okay,
That
okay,
song, yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
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 yeah, all
yeah,
right, all
yeah,
right, all
yeah,
right.
yeah. So there
All
was
right.
that one, and then man, let's see what else we got here. So there's that. I'm gonna put this in this category because it should be the R&B category, but because it's not as lyrically barsy like some of the other songs that I'm thinking of, I got to go Drake "The Real Her." It's R&B ish, but
What's
it's more hip hop
mhm.
ish.
Been a good girl.
No,
That's not.
that's doing it wrong. This is
Oh,
from
what's
Take Care. You never done this before. It can't be
be your
your first
first time?
time.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
That's
okay,
that. I got to put that there. So that
okay.
again, those are the three that I could think of right now.
All right, all right. I'm gonna put this one.
I'm auto tuning the hell out of these voices
Oh,
too, by the way.
okay, bet. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna put just because when you said Cole, it made me think of a song. Pride is the Devil.
Oh, from his most recent one.
Yeah, and that
That's
could
actually a good song.
that could kind
Yeah,
of either
yeah.
go on either of them because I really like the
That's
melody
a
and the beat,
great song.
but like the message is kind of fire.
It's a great song.
Yeah,
That's a good.
but I'm gonna keep down the hip hop side because
Okay.
he's like singing with it. I'll say, yeah, Pride is the Devil.
Mhm.
I say that turn the TV off. That Mustard, that Kendrick song.
Oh, I was with it. Squabble Up,
Squabble Up is fire too.
but that's on the hip hop. I guess that's more. That's hip hop. Squabble Up. I mean,
yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And then let's go. I'm gonna go Driver's Seat by Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have to put you on to bro.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
Okay. So for rap, The Language is my bro. I'll bump that all the time. Yeah.
Not that inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you
okay.
go. Look like I'm ready for early retirement.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that, yo. I love that track. So The Language. Let's see. So another Cole song. Actually, did you listen to man, what mixtape was that? It came out 5 years ago. It feels like yesterday. It was him in Dreamville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Swivel. You hear that song? Put your head on the swivel under that song.
I would have to look. Which Dreamville album?
The most recent one. The most recent one.
Right,
Yeah,
I
look
listened to both of
up.
them.
So the beat though, the beat goes hard, yo.
Something of the Dreamers. Revenge of the Dreamers.
Yeah. Revenge of the Dreamers 3 or 4.
Fire.
Yeah, so Swivel's on there, and obviously, like I said, this is going to be pretty relative to what I listen to.
Yeah, as it
and
should.
I
It's your list.
think "Made You Look" by Nas is probably on there.
Yeah.
Nah.
Hey, shoot.
nah.
Yeah, Made You Look.
Oh yeah,
Use a slave to a page
that's
in
right.
my rhyme.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I forgot it started like that.
Okay.
They shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, Made You Look.
Brave hearts.
Yeah.
I skipped to the end. I skipped to the chant.
Threw me off. I gotta do an honorable mention, which shouldn't be an honorable mention at any of this for hip hop. Juicy by Biggie Smalls, bro.
Oh, yeah,
man,
100%.
I can't believe I forgot that.
100%. That's almost like it's almost made into like pop. You could put it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a staple in music.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, and that's 3 hip hop. I
Yep.
mean, no, that's 3 rap.
That's 3 rap. That's 3. We did hip hop and rap just now. So
Okay, so then I'm gonna say "Man in Garden" by Kendrick Lamar.
Mhm.
That's off the last joint. I'm gonna say what is this? "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
ooh, that's good.
And I'm gonna say because you got a Biggie song, and I'm gonna say "Changes" by Tupac.
Changes. Word. So let's just do 1, 1, and 1. So for the sake of time, 1, 1,
Okay,
and 1 for the next 3, which is
Pop,
rock, and that's it, right?
That's it.
Just pop and rock.
Mhm.
So for pop, I don't know if this is pop, but I'm a big John Mayer fan as well. He did a song called "Stop This Train." I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's a really good song. "Stop This Train" by John Mayer. And then rock is probably going to be what you just had play on earlier, "Use Somebody." That's like that's like one of my favorite songs.
Okay. I'm gonna stay John Mayer for pop too, and I'm gonna say "Waiting on the World to Change."
Okay.
And then for rock, I'm gonna say even though it's probably the softest of soft rock, I would say what's that Aerosmith song from Armageddon? I don't wanna close
Oh
my
man,
eyes. I don't wanna fall
yeah,
asleep. 'Cause I
That's funny.
miss a thing. Miss a
That's
thing.
funny. That's funny. Another song too that I just thought about in again honorable mention, but Maroon 5, "This Love" for Pop, man. You just those are again formidable years in our life. But man, I appreciate you coming and do this. This is pretty
No
dope.
problem, bro.
We'll get the content out. We'll obviously we'll stay in contact. I'm sure we'll run into each other around these.
And after your dry January is over, we're gonna have the Drink Champs edition.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All right,
let's
bro.
do it.
It was fun.
Appreciate it.